doing a review today on the band Winds of Plague. This is a band review, so I won't be necessarily speaking about any of the technicalities within their album because, to be honest, I haven't heard it all. So really it's not even a review as much of an opinion of this band based on the short amount of samples and stuff that unfortunately I'm going to break a lot of people's hearts because I don't like Winds of Plague. I'm also not reviewing any of their specific songs, although I might mention them. So this is just kind of a synopsis of what my opinion is of Winds of Plague as a band, as in my first impression. So we'll call it that. Winds of Plague, first impression. Because, honestly, I listen to a lot of metal. I really do. And I'll have to say that they're talented. They're not doing things that are like way musically incorrect or anything like that. But, I'm just not hearing anything that really grabs my attention very, very much. One thing I think I've mentioned in my After the Burial review of their album In Dreams was that I'm not very fond of the constant blast beats or double bass or gravity beats. I love gravity beats. I love double bass and blast beats, but not the whole time. I think that if it's done tastefully, it's the most exceptional thing I've ever heard. But if it's done the entire time, then I think that you've lost your touch as a musician. You have lost the ability to really understand what music is about. Because if you're just making music to impress people on either a gimmick, some sort of shock, or some sort of talent/gimmick, you're not a band. You know what I'm saying? You're not a band. What you're doing is putting on masks. You're bringing a chick into the band. Not a dude that looks like he should be on the show Jersey Shore, but also in the UFC team in your band. You got the chick from LA Inc. in your band or something. It just, Winds of Plague immediately came off to me like a gimmick. Like, not just a gimmick, but just kind of like a band that there's no integral part in that band that makes me say, this is a really good band that's worth listening to. There's no integrity, and there's no differentiation between them and what I would consider to be a hardcore, I'm not even going to grace them with the word progressive because there's nothing progressive about them. Do you see what I'm saying? They're really hard to describe. They're metal. They play metalcore. They play deathcore. The dude screams deathcore. There's orchestral parts in it. Sometimes it's constant and it's not very well done. It's not very elaborate. It's very clear to me that this girl, who is the keyboardist for the band, has a limited knowledge of keyboard playing. Like, she's not, this is not BT Bam. This is not Born of Osiris. Like, this is just, the music doesn't even sound remotely close to that. You gotta hand it to them. They are headlining their own tour right now, sort of. The December Decimation Tour, which I think is already over. It's January 3rd, but they're still on tour with As I Lay Dying and After the Burial. And I guess I'm going to see them live, so I'll follow this up. I'll follow it up, but I mean, I just felt that it was necessary to express my opinion on Winds of Plague because I'm so blown away by some of these bands that are coming out in how much they lack like a solid core. And I think what I mean by solid core is that when you listen to a band, it should not have any transparency to it. In other words, when you listen to it, you should not be able to immediately say, ha, I know what they're doing. Ha, I know what they did. Ha, I see what's going on. I understand. You should not be able to say that. To me, a good band is one of those bands that leaves you in shock. Like the first time I heard the Mars Volta. Like the first time I heard Tool. Like the first time I heard Opeth. Like the first time I heard After the Burial, or Periphery, or Tesseract. Tesseract is a little bit more transparent than those. But these bands, I was lost. I was plunged into an ocean of notes I couldn't swim my way out of. Winds of Plague, I felt that I could probably write that stuff on a MIDI controller, using sounds from Doom. I don't necessarily like it at all. Now, I'm not going to be making any recommendations. You guys listen to those. It's your prerogative. Listen to it on your own terms. But please, I will endorse commenting and discussions. I mean, let's make this a discussion because I really want to know what you guys think. About chicks in bands, chicks in metal bands, which I think it's good. I'm not saying it's bad. I just want your opinion on it. But I also want to know if you find any cliches in metal bands that you think are just typical or detestable cliches that you know are out there. Because obviously there's the hair metal era cliches, and I think that we're oddly drawing near to that point. I had a co-musician that at one point said, the new hair metal is emo, screamo, and I thought it made a really good point because it is kind of like they took metal and glamified it. They glammed it out, and that's emo to me. I don't know what to say. I really don't like Winds of Plague. That's my review of that band, and there will be many more to come. More positive ones by far, more negative ones by far. They're not like my most hated band either. But keep up to date with these. I'll definitely be reviewing a lot of music. I do take requests, as I've mentioned in a previous video. So if your local band wants a review, I can do that. And since I mentioned this earlier in the video, this is not a formal album review, it's not a formal song review, so I can't give any like technical opinions on what I think about this part here, that part there, this chord change there, that progression here, the scale, the key, the mode. I won't be able to do that because I just can't get into them enough to sit there and go, hey, I really care. But if it's done for a local band, I will actually give you the time, and I would be glad to do that. If it's not a local band, not necessarily local to me, but rather unsigned is what I'm saying. So if you're an unsigned band, I'd be glad to do that. So take care, have a great day, and go listen to some Winds of Plague. Hit them up. Tell me what you think. I don't like them. Later.